So when we have the choice, I think making higher profit per order, over £300 for every single sale compared to £10 to £20, I know which type of business I would run. The third myth is that you can only sell cheap products. And the idea of having a dropshipping store is that you dropship little cheap trinkets. Is that true, Lewis? Do you think that you can only dropship cheap products?
Well, this is another myth that needs to be busted. So it's funny, yesterday I was out shopping with my wife. We went to a shopping centre and I had to buy some new gym clothes, or I needed some new stuff for running at the gym and stuff. I went into good old trusty Sports Direct, right? I'm sure we've all been there. We know the drill. It's kind of packed up to the ceiling with like unopened stock boxes. There seems to be like products like so high that I don't understand how anyone could ever get to them. I just needed to buy a couple of things, right? So I picked up, I think it was like 2 t-shirts and 2 sets of shorts for the gym. First challenge you experience in there is like, how do you find anyone to help you? There's not a single staff member inside. There was one lady who was like behind the till of like 15 people in the queue. So eventually I did get her attention. I just said, I'm just going to try some of these on in the changing rooms. And she looked at me and she was like, can't take 4 items in there. You can only take 3. And I was like, I think she thought I was going to like try and run out and steal all of the gym clothes whilst carrying my clothes out the store. So just like all in all, just a really poor experience, just from start to finish. Like, of course, yes, I got the end product, but the way that it was kind of managed, like I felt like I was almost being accused of theft before I'd even purchased the item. Contrast that to a store I went into later and walked into Reese, the clothes shop. And as I picked up one of the shirts, it was like, they've got that like premium white kind of paper that's like unwrapped within the shirt. It's so nicely folded. You almost feel like it's ruining the display to even pick it up and like check out the clothes and look at it. It's just such a different experience. You ask to try something on and they're like, yes, absolutely, sir. Please take a seat. Like, here's the changing rooms. And it's all like luxury velvet curtain. And it's really nice high end. Now, the funny thing is the cost to make the 2 items, the ones from the high end shop and then the ones from the low end shop, probably isn't that far off. If you kind of compare like actual factory manufacturing costs, yeah, there's probably a bit of a difference because they're definitely better quality. And the margin percentages will be way different because the experience in the high-end shop is so much better. And because of that, people will pay so much more for that premium service. And so the quality of interactions as well, if you imagine that you owned both of those shops, right? You're the owner, you're the shopkeeper. Imagine your interactions with and how customers treat you and interact with you in those 2 environments. They're worlds apart, aren't they? The high-end shop is going to attract people probably with more money, more disposable income. They're going to probably be more pleasant to deal with because they're not looking just for the best deal and it's like price. Possibly, there's going to be a bit more patience. You can work in a more calm environment. Look, I'm not knocking Sports Direct. They're both good shops, but for me, I know which one I would rather have my business actually resemble, if I was the business owner of them. And it's the same with e-commerce. By focusing on high ticket items, so higher priced items, it transforms the business model. It means that you get to make so much more profit per order. You don't need as many items there. Therefore, you can offer a way higher level of customer service, better quality customers usually coming through because there's higher requirement to buy the items financially. So it just transforms the type of business. And it's like going from running a pound shop to owning a flagship boutique store in a high-end shopping center. And so selling higher quality products as well means that you need fewer customers, which means you have fewer customer issues to deal with. You have better margins to deal with, and it's just a much better ownership experience. Now, of course, both of those models can make money, and I'm sure Sports Direct are very profitable, but the point is, it's a different game. It's a volume game, isn't it? It's not necessarily a like luxurious experience that you're then going to go and tell all your friends about. That's not what they're aiming for. But at this stage, if you're in the position now where you haven't yet made your business and you get to decide what you want your business to be like, that's the ultimate advantage for you. You get to choose. And so if you are at that fork in the roads at the moment where you think, actually, I like the sound of a higher ticket business and I'd prefer to offer that premium luxury level of service to my customers, then check out episode 26 we did of the Dropship Unlocked podcast, where we dive deep into the model of high ticket dropshipping and we really explained the benefits of selling higher ticket, high quality products. The episode title was called 3 Steps to Build a High Profit Dropshipping Store. And it was episode 26.
Yeah, and the key there is that we have a decision when we first start a business about whether to sell cheap products and therefore a high volume of orders with a lower quality of customer on the whole, or you have the choice to go into a high profit per order store with larger items with, often in excess of £1,000. And so you've got less admin, less customers to deal with. And you have that choice from the very start. And we both run low ticket stores, and we now run high ticket dropshipping stores. And my two stores have average order values of over £1,000. And I can say from experience, you can do both with the same level of skill and expertise. The difficulty to sell a high ticket product is exactly the same as selling a low ticket product. So when we have the choice, I think making higher profit per order, over £300 for every single sale compared to £10 to £20, I know which type of business I would run. And that's the way I do it, and I'd recommend for everyone else. Myth number 4, Lewis, is another common one that we hear, and it's more about the perception of dropshipping itself. So there's a myth that dropshipping is not a serious business. And so people think when they hear about somebody that's a dropshipper or whether to start a dropshipping business, they almost don't take it seriously. So my question for you, Lewis, is do you think that dropshipping is a serious business?
Yeah, I've heard this one many times as well. And when I hear it, I kind of just smile because inwardly I know that it very much is. It comes down to how you treat the business model. When you go into it, what your expectations are as a business owner, because you'll project the type of business that you create. If you treat dropshipping with a professional approach and you go into it and say, this is a serious business that I'm going to create as a brand that one day I want to go and sell, then it kind of becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. You know how they say you should dress for the job that you want, not the one you have? Well, do the same thing with your business. Create the business that you want, not the one that everyone tells you maybe isn't a serious business model. Because I can assure you there are many global businesses that started out as dropshipping businesses and then maybe even evolved. And actually, there are many that didn't need to evolve. Wayfair, for example, who've become a globally recognized, extremely profitable brand who still predominantly use dropshipping as their primary source of or method of fulfillment straight from suppliers. So if you take it seriously from the outset, if you focus on the fundamentals, if you build really strong foundations and just view it as this long-term venture that you are building, you're growing a brand, you're building it so that one day you could sell that business as an asset. With the right strategy, dropshipping can scale like any other business. So it doesn't have to be viewed as just an entry-level business model. Although it is a great entry point into entrepreneurship, you can absolutely take it to the next level. It reminds me of one of our members that has done exactly this, a gentleman called Jared. And he started out considering all the different business models. I remember having a call with him and he was kind of looking into the different options that he could run, having not run an online business like this before. And I remember having a chat with him about whether this was a serious business model for long-term growth. He was an ambitious guy. He wanted to make sure that the model he went into had scalability, opportunity baked into it, and it wasn't going to hit a ceiling or get to a point where he realized that the whole thing wasn't viable. And so he followed and applied my home turf advantage model with his business and has now hit £4 million in revenue and growing from there. It was a really interesting conversation we had with him recently on the podcast. We dived into his journey, start to finish, or not finish, start to where he's at now. That was episode 39 of the podcast. So that's worth a listen. Episode 39 is a testament to the seriousness and potential of dropshipping if you treat it like a real serious business.
It comes down to that old saying that if you treat it like a hobby, it will pay you like a hobby. But if you treat it like a serious business, then you'll get paid like a serious business gets paid. And that's up to you and how you approach it. And I know for me, when I joined the Dropship Unlocked Masterclass, that flicked a switch in me to make sure I knew I was taking this seriously. I had a proper training coach, I had you as a mentor, and I knew therefore I would take it seriously and make it work. And so it's paid me seriously now. And now my first brand that I've still got is a dropshipping business, but now I'm doing things like kit sponsorships. We're a kit sponsor for a football team. It's serious business moves that you can make with a business, even if dropshipping is your fulfillment model. So you can absolutely have a serious business. I think a lot of the time is the way that you approach it. As long as you approach it seriously, then you'll get paid seriously as well.